She shoved a wine bottle up her vagina.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How much of it?
Girl.
Hello, and welcome to
Tell Me About It.
I'm Claudia,
And I'm Jaya.
and this is a podcast where two best friends talk all things current affairs and our version of pop culture.
Now, onto
Onto
the
the
podcast. So, Claudia,
Yes, Jaya?
did you watch the latest season of Big Brother?
No, but I've seen the memes and the drama.
Girl, tell me about it. But first,
Always first.
how are you? So, for those of you that don't know what this is or might be new here, this is the part of the podcast where we ask each other how we've been because we believe that it's important to check on the people you love.
I am feeling really good. I've just been away for Easter. So I've been back at home, spending time with family, spending time in the sun, spending
Nice.
time with friends. And it was honestly the break that I knew that I needed.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice time. And I feel a lot more energized now being back. And oh, that's good. Ready to go. How are you?
I feel like our Easters were the opposite of each other because I was out every day and every night
Yeah.
or surrounded by people at all times and I felt drained.
I hate that for you.
After that. Like it's nice to socialise every now and then, but also like I do need my recharging moments, which I haven't had a lot of recently.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll be coming soon.
Yes.
Like I was so busy that I didn't even get to catch up on any of my programmes that I've been watching.
I know. And you are the Big Brother queen.
I know.
And you didn't even watch the latest
I
season.
literally, my mum's been catching me up. She's been telling me all the tea. And like you, I've seen a lot of stuff
Yeah.
online as well.
Yeah,
So-
TikTok has been my kettle and it's been
Nice.
pouring all the tea.
Okay.
So I've seen what the fuck was going on between Jojo and Chris and like, we need to talk about it.
There were a lot of hot takes from the people that were in there this season.
Yeah.
I think the most controversial character would have been, what's his name?
Fucking, I don't know.
This bitch.
I don't think we need to know.
Okay, well, that bitch. We all know who we're talking about.
Got sent home a bit too late. Like after a few strikes.
People did say this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was another big thing.
Yeah. And then actually, towards the end, Jojo had like a realization about her
Yeah.
sexuality and
Yeah.
no longer identifies as lesbian, now just queer.
Yeah.
Which was a moment as well, because I feel like a lot of people, or like many people, don't realize like how much of a journey people go through in terms of their sexuality.
Yeah.
Like you don't just, once you've, I guess, decided on a label for yourself, doesn't mean you need to stick to that label.
Yeah.
I think it was a good moment to be televised, for people to see that like it is a spectrum and it's, as you grow, it grows with you, it changes
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's a nice moment between like her and Danny Beard she spoke to about it. And obviously
yeah.
he's a seasoned queen, so like he's probably been through similar journeys and
Yeah.
there's a bit of a voice of reason for her, which was nice.
Yeah. It's interesting how it kind of came about and like watching that journey.
Well, that's the thing.
But I feel like you really go through it. Like people don't realize how much it does to you to just be in that environment. But it was kind of crazy to watch her in that setting.
Yeah.
I feel like she came across more human because
Exactly.
it's like fully vulnerable, stripped back.
Yeah, I did wonder, like, when she first went in, like, American reality TV is very different, I think, to UK. I
Yeah.
think with Americans, the louder, the bigger, the more performative you are, the more you stand out.
Yeah.
Maybe people might gravitate towards you. But in the UK ones, I definitely think that the more authentic, the more real
Yeah.
and the more relatable you are, the further you go and the
Yeah.
better you do. And I think I wasn't sure whether she would recognise that coming into a UK show rather than doing the American one.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, maybe potentially the other housemates around her displaying just more honest, down to earth, kind of natural versions of them, she kind of realised, I'm just going to be myself. And then people have
Yeah.
ended up really liking her.
Yeah. So I watched her exit interview and she literally said, you know, she was nervous about going into that sort of thing. She was nervous that it was in a different country and
Yeah.
she wasn't sure if people were going to like her or resonate. And she's like, I had this whole idea of like kind of who I was going to be. Like I brought outfits I've never worn in my life. And then very quickly realised this isn't going to work. Like, who am I kidding?
No.
It's not a place to do that. It's like you're watched 24/7.
Yeah.
So you just got to be you. But yeah, now I'm just curious to see what happens post Big Brother House for
Yeah.
her, to be honest.
Because her
We've-
partner?
We've all seen the TikToks. The letter that came through as well.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
I know. It's going to be more tea to come, I guess.
It never ends with this show. Never.
I love Big Brother just in
I know you do.
in general.
I know you do.
I've always loved it.
I know.
It's big in my family household. Like, we have always been a Big Brother family.
Yeah.
So I've grown up watching it very heavily.
Yeah.
And so it's just like inevitable that I would be a fan.
Yeah. That's my family hates it.
Really?
It's so fun. Yeah, they do. I mean, I grew up with the Italian version kind of on in the background, which we'll get to it, but I feel like it's a lot more just trash TV.
More trash?
More trash.
Oh
And
my
like
God.
in my parents' eyes, it was always like, why would you watch that? It's like you're losing brain cells kind of thing.
Okay.
So I was never like huge on the Big Brother train, but I've had my own journey with it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Honestly, this show is a world of its own.
Yeah.
Like, it's just its own beast.
Yeah.
So I've got some notes on like the origin, and I think you're gonna be shook. I'm not
I'm
gonna lie. Like, I'm
excited.
getting out the forearm.
Getting out the
The old specs.
spectacles. I was going to say obstacles, but
I mean,
not quite.
my eyesight is an obstacle. The concept
Yeah.
was first developed in the Netherlands.
yeah.
The original company that it came from was Endemol. This guy called John de Mol,
A
working
double
at
John?
Endemol. No, sorry, no, I just started.
I thought you said John Endemol.
No, no, it was John de Mol Jr. working at Endemol
Oh.
in 1997. And basically what came to mind was an experiment that had happened in 1991
Okay.
in America
Yeah, of course.
called Biosphere 2.
What?
So this on its own could be a whole fucking episode, because seriously, insane moment in time.
Oh.
So the whole experiment was that they stayed there for, I can't remember, 2 years
that is crazy.
in this like replica Earth system. The group was actually started by this dude who, he was like, can't remember his name, but basically the means of how they got to build this dome and fund this whole project was that this like millionaire, maybe even billionaire, but I think millionaire, like Texas cowboy, like joined the group, and they were like, oh, we want to build this like ecosystem. And he was like, take my money.
What?
So they ended up doing that, recorded the whole thing. And basically what came out of it was every single one of them went fucking crazy.
I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised.
They kept like video diaries and like filmed themselves talking to the camera,
Yeah.
being like, I'm in a fight with this person, I hate this person. They all ended up
Yeah.
arguing, fighting the whole time. And they barely had rations to eat because they miscalculated like how long it would take to like
Oh
grow
my
a vegetable.
God.
And they had barely any fucking water, but they stayed in there for the whole 2 years.
Who,
And
who
then
made them? Did they get paid? Like,
I think they were just so dedicated to the experiment that they just fucking stayed for no damn,
it's like
damn reason.
when unemployment really hits. You're like, you know what?
Honestly,
Sure.
they had nothing better to do.
Wow.
So like the experiment in its like goal to see if we could survive on a different planet, or whatever, was a fucking fail.
Yep.
But what they did gather information on, I guess, is like
Human.
human interaction,
Yeah.
human behavior.
Yeah.
So basically, that is what Endemol took inspiration from, and they were like, the fact that they all went fucking nuts
Yeah.
was super entertaining, and we're going to turn that into a show.
We got to monetize this.
We got to monetize this
Yeah.
bitch. So that was like the initial crux of like the show,
Yeah.
basically. And
Wow.
They launched Big Brother in the Netherlands a year later.
It's crazy that it wasn't the US first in my
Mm.
head, because I feel like they're always the first. They do entertainment really well, especially the over the top. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Do you know why it's called Big Brother, like the origin of the name kind of thing?
I actually do. Do you
Tell
want me
me.
to tell you? So the name actually comes from the George Orwell novel 1984. Basically, this big brother looks over all these inhabitants and monitors their behavior.
Mm.
And it does this through a camera to kind of try and suppress their free will, which is
Yeah.
really dark.
It's a dystopian like
It's so dystopian.
theme, yeah.
Yeah. And the tagline of the novel is Big Brother is watching you.
Yeah.
So that's where the inspiration comes from. And that's literally what the show is.
Exactly.
And it's just kind of this recreation of like society as like a social experiment within this confined space. But like, how crazy is that?
It's such an interesting like idea,
Yeah.
I guess. And so there was the novel, and then there was a movie as well.
Yeah.
The movie actually came out in 1984 and was named 1984, so I can imagine that was pretty spooky to watch.
Oh, I love that.
And then in the movie, there's like a personification of the surveillance, which is Big Brother.
Yeah. Ugh.
Creepy.
Spooky. Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. So for anyone that hasn't seen the show, should we give a little kind of run through of the format?
Do it.
Okay, so in this show, the contestants are renamed housemates.
Yep.
And housemates basically all live together in a specifically designed house that is isolated from the outside world. And they're continuously monitored by cameras, microphones, and Big Brother.
Can I add to that for a second? Because I brought this up last night. Every time I've seen a Big Brother house, it's a fucking eyesore. It's so bright. The decor is appalling. It's it's so fake looking. It's it's not a house that anyone would feel comfortable in. And I guess it's designed for that purpose. But have you ever noticed, whenever I've watched it, I'm like, fuck, I could not last a day without lighting.
It's overstimulating, but it's a set, it's a studio, it's a stage. It's not, I don't think they want them to be relaxed and feel comfortable. They need them to be on edge at all times. It's a game show. I
kind of deeped it. I'm like, it looks like the lighting is so bright, and I'm like, wait, maybe that's the point.
So I'll touch on that in a bit. Basically, what they wanted to do, similar to the Biosphere 2, was get people from all walks of life who wouldn't naturally meet.
Yes.
And put them in a space together.
Uni
is a game show. It's survival out there. Literally. Oh my God, yeah, so right. And then they also, Survivor, the game show, was big at the time. And what they took from that was that the contestants on that show would vote someone off every time. So they took from that, they said that the housemates will nominate, but the audience will evict. Yeah. And then obviously there'll be one person left and they'll win a cash prize. Yeah. So that's the kind of format of it. And yeah, like I said, the year later, so 1998, the first Dutch Big Brother was aired. It was kind of people were talking about it, people were enjoying it. What made it blow up was that two of the young hot contestants ended up having sex on it. Oh. Yeah. And that's when the ratings went through the roof. Yeah. And that's what propelled it to have enough success to then go on to be made in other countries, like the US and UK.
Have you ever watched the US version?
No.
So it's actually quite different. So, I was saying before, I never watched the UK one, never really watched my Italian one. But I did go through a phase for 3 years straight. I think I was probably 17-ish.
Okay.
Where I religiously was obsessed with Big Brother US.
That's fun.
Which is really random. I think I probably started watching it because there was a season where Ariana Grande's brother went on it. And I was like, what? And I just watched it. And then I was like, wait, this is crazy. It was addicting. It was such a drug. But their format is a little bit different because obviously it's still all of them in a house and there are challenges and stuff. But how it works is every week, it's a lot more strategic and about gameplay rather than just chilling in the house. So every week there's a head of household which decides who gets put up for elimination. Then they do more challenges for them to win a veto, which is basically a protective shield for them not to be sent out.
Every season?
Every week.
But every season?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, I think every season, there's twists and turns and their tagline is expect the unexpected because there's always some twists. But when I watched it, that was the format.
Okay.
And then instead of the public voting them out, it's them. They vote each other out.
Yes.
So it's a lot more about they form alliances and they lie to people.
Yeah, actually, I did read that it was the UK one that introduced the audience vote.
Yeah.
So I think every other Big Brother does the inside vote out.
Yeah. I think both ways can fuck you up in different ways.
True.
It was so fascinating to watch people play the game. You could tell they're I'm playing the game, I want to stay to the end. And then when it's 7-ish housemates left or something.
Yeah.
When they get evicted, they get sent to a separate house, which is the judging house.
Okay.
And then from then on, they get to watch the show as it happens. So they get to watch what's happening. So that at the very end, where there's 2 people left, the judges choose the winner, which are their past housemates. So they get to find out if you've been lying to them. And it's so good.
Wow,
It's
that's
really
fun.
fucked. But yeah, so it's purely them. It's there's no audience vote. Okay. At least when I watched it. So that's the US version. So it's a lot more strategic.
I think that's exactly how the rest of them are.
Also, how long does the UK one last usually?
It differs. Over the years, they've had a range of amounts of housemates.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something crazy? Because I read this and I was like...
Gasping.
No. On the German version of Big Brother, There was season 5 and 6 were particularly a standout because season 5 went on for a whole year.
No.
Yeah. And it had 59 housemates.
What
Yeah.
the hell?
And it won the Guinness World Record for the longest uninterrupted like reality
show.
television show. I read this. I was like, who decides this? Why? Like, absolutely
No.
not. A year.
That is too much.
That's like 11 months too long.
True.
Like, I needed to tell you this because I was like, what?
That is insane. Jesus.
Quite similar to that OG experiment half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Horrible.
Too far.
They did win €1 million, so.
$1 million?
Well, yeah. One of them.
2.
Yeah. $1 million?
Yeah.
I mean, minimum
play.
I'd want $1 million.
Yeah, fair play.
In exchange for 2 years of my life. Truman Show who? I wonder, like, what the ratings were, like, from beginning to end, because you're literally watching, like, I don't know if you've got, like, the 24-hour broadcast channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know the Italian one had it, and it's like, you could literally watch someone constantly. Like, that's really fascinating.
Yeah. I think it was season 7 at one point.
Yeah.
They realised that, like, thousands of people had tuned in just to watch
The
them
live
sleep.
feed. Oh my
The live
God.
feed of them sleeping.
That's
And
kind
I'm
of
like,
weird.
That's Big Brother. That's crazy.
Like, that's not even entertainment.
It's creepy. Yeah.
Is it like company? Like,
God, I honestly couldn't tell you. Could not tell
crazy.
you. Yeah. I've got some notes here on just like very key moments, starting from season 1.
Yeah. Okay.
All the way through.
Back to the beginning.
So I want to take it all the way back. Because
Okay.
it was season 1 is so famous.
Yeah.
And it's truly rooted in British culture at
Yeah.
this point. So basically it started on the 18th of July 2000 on Channel 4, immediately became a hit.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about it. The winner was a guy called Craig Phillips. There's a famous bit where he first comes out and Davina's like, you're the winner, like, can you believe it? How many votes do you think you got? And he was like, oh, well, I've got about like 30 like friends, family, so probably like 60, maybe a couple votes each.
Yeah.
And she's like, for you to win, you accumulated 3.5 million votes. And he was like, what? The show got so big that you could go through the Big Brother website at the time to get like information to vote, blah, blah. The UK Big Brother website became the biggest website in Europe.
People were invested.
It was big. It was huge.
Damn.
The fucking theme song spent 3 weeks in the top 10 on the charts, the music charts. 3 weeks.
What's the...
Do you recognise that?
No.
Oh, my thingy's
That's
on.
a fucking
This
club mix.
This is on speed.
Wow.
This.
No.
This is it. That will always be in my mind.
I've never heard that in my life.
Wait, but when you're watching the American one, is it different? It must
I
be
was
different.
just going to Google it. Yeah. This is the US one.
And you recognise this?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the bit where everyone turns around and is like,
They don't have that in the UK one.
yeah, this is the intro, and everyone's like, you know? Yeah. The American presenter is like an icon as well. She's like so robotic. But I think she's been doing it the entire time.
Oh, wow.
She's very like...
Yeah, she's over it. Davina, why people loved her was because she was very silly,
Yeah.
very goofy,
Yeah.
but amazing at the same time, like so good at her job
Yeah.
and good at creating like tension, drama. Like she's just, a nice person.
Oh.
And then also a lot of the props from season 1 House
Yeah.
got sold in auction, and the diary room chair went for £50,000.
Wow.
50,000
From the first season?
from season 1.
Wow.
And then also, do you know Heat magazine?
Yeah.
Heat magazine was about to die, and then they did like an interview with one of the contestants,
Yeah.
and that did so well that it actually fucking
Saved it.
saved Heat.
Oh
And
my
then from
gosh.
Heat
Wow.
would then catapult the storylines and talk about the show in their
Yeah.
magazine, and it was like a symbiotic relationship.
Whoa.
Yeah, the rest of the time.
Well done, Heat.
Something notorious that came out of season 1
Yeah.
was a character. His real name was Nick Bateman.
Okay.
Lol. Anyone that has the name Bateman is just
Yeah. Creep.
crazy. But he got nicknamed Nasty Nick. And a lot of people still recognise, like my mum has told me about Nasty Nick before, but I'd never like looked into him because I'm like, okay, Nasty Nick. But she's like, it was a big deal at the time. And I'm like,
what happened?
What did this bitch do? So basically, you know how you were saying that like the house is like an eyesore?
Yeah.
It's so bright, it's so coloured, it's too intense. Season 1 was not like that. It was kind of just like a normal house. Yeah. They even had chickens in the garden.
Okay.
They were allowed to bring in 2 books each and a musical instrument.
So a musical instrument?
There was a guitar. It was all
That happening. Is rogue.
Yeah, just to keep them stimulated. And a key point is that they also had an on-set psychologist or counsellor.
Okay, yeah.
So every time that maybe someone would get upset about something, they could literally go off to speak to this counsellor. It wouldn't be filmed, all confidential, resolve whatever they were feeling, however they were thinking, and they would come back and they would be fine. So actually there was kind of no conflict in season 1 because they actually had things that entertain them, keep them stimulated, and a counsellor to speak to.
From season 1? Okay, that's quite forward thinking. Okay.
But then people were like, we're loving the show, but it is a little bit boring.
Yeah.
In comes Nick.
Oh, God.
He is this like rich posh boy psycho.
Oh God.
And basically what he did from the very top was he befriended every single person.
Yeah.
And then he would secretly be going behind literally everyone's back and talking about them to each of the other housemates to get them to be like, oh, they're not good, they're not nice, turning them all against each other. He also did this whole fucking fake story. Like all of the housemates were sat in the seating area, the living room.
Yeah.
He told a story completely made up about how he had a fiance or a wife who died in a car crash. He then said when he got out of the show, he was like, oh, I didn't think they'd air it because the producers and everyone knew that that never happened.
Did they?
I was just telling, so the audience, everyone outside the house knew it was a lie. Nobody in the house knew it was a lie. So they showed him telling them all this story. And he's like, oh, they won't show it because they know it's not true. They obviously did show it. And then he got sympathy from like all of the housemates. They all trusted him entirely.
That is horrible.
Psychotic. Then obviously Big Brother has a rule. You're not allowed to discuss nominations or whatever. So he realised that there was a few blind spots where the cameras couldn't see in the house. He would hide bits of paper under his bed or something. And he'd like pretend to drop something with another housemate. They'd both bend down. The paper would have a name on it, who was the person who he was telling the other housemates to nominate. So they'd bend down for a second. He'd be like, this is the name. Then they'd come back up and then they would vote this person out.
What the fuck?
He literally was gameplaying hard.
That is psychotic.
And obviously the audience all knew that he was manipulating, playing, like lying. But obviously no one in the house did. So it was they all literally loved him. And he was the only housemate to never get a nomination.
Why does that always happen?
How crazy is that?
Oh my God.
What eventually happened was the winner, who went on to win, Craig, he finds these bits of paper with the names on it. And he's like, what the fuck is this? Realises that Nick has been playing this game, playing everyone against each other. He then goes to the diary room and he's like, look, this is what Nick's been doing. He's been cheating the entire time. He's telling people who to nominate for, blah, blah, blah. The producers, they said to him, look, why don't you gather your thoughts, decide what you want to say it in the morning, confront him in the morning. Yeah. The reason they did this was because they then changed all the setup of all the cameras. So they was directly facing like the main dining table where they were all going to sit. They set them up so they could like zoom into each of their facial expressions, their eyes, get all of the juicy content basically. And when Craig did confront him the very next day, he was like, guys, I need to tell you all something. Craig is fucking cheating and manipulating all of us. They caught it all and it made TV gold and it literally fucking spread like wildfire and the viewings just went so rocketed. And that's when it became a fucking show.
Yeah. Now the show begins.
They eventually kicked Nick out. So even to this day, he's the only housemate to be evicted who never got a nomination. It's so good.
It's kind of iconic. I'm not gonna lie.
Fucking iconic. So that's what happened.
Damn.
Season 1.
Immediately.
And then because of how successful that was the next year, Comic Relief were like, oh, let's do a celebrity version to like for charity.
So that was pretty quick, like pretty immediate. I thought it came like ages after.
No, because it was such a success. They were like, let's get on this. It was so successful they decided to continue with the celeb one as well. So that's how that was born. It was originally just like a little charity fund thing.
People love seeing celebrities in that kind of thing because, like, it's so different to their usual environment.
Oh, yeah.
It's so interesting to watch because there's no escaping.
It's like 24/7, baby.
It's 24/7.
Exactly. So then season 2 of the normal people one, or the what like civilian version. Civilian version. That's when the iconic eye logo came about.
Okay.
The original Big Brother house was in Bow in East London.
Damn.
I know, but then they lost their lease on that building, so that's when they moved over to the iconic studio, big production house that we kind of all know today.
Yeah.
That's when they started redesigning every single year because they had the money, they had the budget, they had the space. They also introduced their live like entry nights and eviction nights. They didn't have those before, but now they had a big enough audience to do that. And they also introduced like the seasonal themes. So this was the first ever theme they did, which was rich and poor divide. So there was a gate running the whole way through the middle of the house. One side was a rich side, one side was a poor side. That was super interesting.
I didn't know they did this.
Yeah. This season specifically made television history.
Season 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Randomly, this is just a side note, this was the season that Alison Hammond was on.
Yeah. As a civilian.
As a civilian.
Wow.
Went on to be a queen.
Yeah, what an icon.
This was the season that gave the world Jade Goody. How much do you know? Do you know at all who Jade is?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I think I've probably seen pictures, but
yeah,
couldn't tell you.
Okay, so you're about to find out because there is a lot to say about Jade.
Okay.
Basically, Jade is noted as the first ever big star to come out of reality.
Okay.
Not scary, but very important. Imagine being the first ever big reality star to come out of TV.
God, no.
UK TV.
No.
Like, imagine
the toll that takes.
It must have been a lot. So basically, she entered into the Big Brother house age 20. She was super young.
Whoa.
Yeah. She was raised by her single disabled mother. And she had a drug addicted pimp father.
Oh, God.
And the press basically branded her as like everything that was wrong with Britain at the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was very much like very classist, like thinking that she was like lower than everyone else just because of the way she sounded, the way she looked. Like it got very, very vicious very quickly in terms of her, the press and their opinions of her and what they spread about her as well. So she was called, and this is like a very famous thing. She was called the most hated woman in Britain at the time.
What?
Just because of she was being who she was, like who she naturally is. Like she's very loud, very gobby, ran around the house naked, was like curvier, like just an average girl.
Yeah.
And because of that, there was like hate campaigns against her.
Who's got the time?
Honestly, the press are just, especially in the noughties, like we spoke
oh
about
my
this.
God, that's a whole other topic.
In the Britney episode, it came up a lot of like the press in the noughties, especially against women, was just awful.
Terrible. No empathy, like just blood-sucking vultures.
Yeah, exactly that. It was really disgusting. Eventually, somehow, some way, the public ended up falling in love with her.
Oh my God.
When she came out, she was like, I was just myself.
Yeah.
And like, you all love me for me. And she was like so happy, but she didn't know at the time, obviously, that they'd been saying all these horrible things about her in the press. But Big Brother was the first show in Britain to uplift like the reality star and to birth like the reality star.
Okay.
And that just changed the celebrity world, flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
Because you can now become famous for not being famous.
Yeah, just being on a reality.
So a lot of psychologists work behind the scenes at the Big Brother house, and a bunch of them warned like the producers at the time that they were like really scared for when Jade left the house and scared for her safety when she came out. But when she did end up leaving, her celebrity respectability became really clear because she'd won over the public. She gave an interview in Heat.
Heat, hooray.
Exactly. It's like the psychologist was like, this is bad, this is really, really bad.
Yeah.
But because she won everyone over, she was an immediate celebrity. like a top celebrity.
That is actually crazy. So she didn't even know that she was hated.
She could hear the crowd outside and they would like cheer for her and stuff. So I think she did kind of gather that there was like a shift, but I don't think she knew the scale of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, what a story.
Jade's achievements were like really remarkable because of where she came from and then where she ended up.
Yeah.
She remained in the public eye way past like the perceived like sell by date of the average reality star. And on top of that, she turned coming fourth on the reality show, by the way. She didn't even come top 3, but
the best ones never win though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fourth on the show into a multi-million-pound business. Insane.
I mean, love that for her.
Well,
yeah, I feel like nothing can prepare you for what you go through during an experience like that. Like any reality show, just people knowing who you are. And to that scale is just like, I don't think humans are supposed to know what that feels like. Like even celebrities, it's just like,
no,
it's not normal. I was looking into this because I was wondering like, what are the actual ethics behind it? Like, do they actually care about the contestants' mental health? And obviously you mentioned they've got like, they had counselling from the very beginning. And I looked it up and I think this kind of applies to all shows, but contestants before going on, they have to go through like an intense sort of, basically like an intense mental checkup to see if you're actually stable enough to go into it. They've got like counsellors on screen, off screen, like any moment, post, like aftercare almost. And they actually implemented this law. Well, it's called the duty of care liability. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yeah.
Which is basically just to ensure their well-being, and it's like you can get in a lot of trouble if you don't apply to it. Duty of care protocols included a comprehensive welfare package for each housemate, training on respect and inclusion for the show, general support from like mental health professionals, and then a complete social media blackout ahead of the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which obviously this must have been implemented and more recently where like social media was more prominent and more cutthroat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read that it was implemented in 2023, just this law. Like obviously they had the mental health professionals, but it's a very recent thing, which I find quite insane considering the history of like certain contestants on Big Brother and just other reality TV shows.
Yeah.
It's like you should have maybe thought about this a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I don't think they understood the impact it could truly have on someone. I think the main reason that they passed that law really recently as well is due to the incidents that happened with Love Island contestants, which is obviously awful. When that was so prominent and it didn't just happen once, that's when they started taking better care of them basically. And even in TV, like I've worked with people that have been like, we now have a welfare team, which is a new role, which are solely dedicated to taking care of contestants and their well-being. I get told all the time, like, this is such a new thing. We never did this before. This never existed before. And I'm like, weird.
Damn.
That's really toxic.
Yeah.
Really toxic. I'm glad they have it now.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. And like moving forward, I don't think we'll ever get rid of it ever again. I think this is it. This is it for now, for good. Yeah, it's really interesting that obviously this law has just come through, but then Big Brother had a counsellor on location for contestants to speak to. But after the success of like Jade Goody's season, they realised that they needed to like up the ante again because of how big Jade was. They were like, we need more stars, more drama. Stupidly, the very next season, which was season 5, they fucking got rid of the counsellors.
Are you serious?
They got rid of them because it caused more conflict in the house. Better TV.
Oh, why?
They really nearly had something and they just completely got rid of it.
Honestly, the 2000s were brutal. Damn.
Yeah. That actually led to one of the biggest moments in Big Brother history.
What?
A singular night named Fight Night.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Very crazy. Big Brother basically, I said they started having themes.
Yep.
The theme of this year was Big Brother Goes Evil.
Oh my God.
And this was because I actually skipped season 4 because everyone skipped season 4 because it was so fucking boring because they all just got on and lived happy lives. So then that's why for season 5, they introduced the famous siren that wakes them up in the mornings.
Oh, I honestly, there's so many little things I would choose not to go on the show for, and that is one of them.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
I'd be angry all the time.
Me too.
Like,
eventually, basically 2 girlies got fake evicted and went into a secret room. They didn't really have any power, but they did get to watch everything that happened in the house after they got fake evicted.
Yeah.
And then if they didn't like certain things, they could cause a bit of like havoc.
Okay.
So like they heard one housemate calling another housemate a slut. So they put itching powder in her top. And then She was just itching for the whole episode. They are in this secret house, secret room for a long time, just hearing the other housemates just chat the most shit about them, getting riled up. And eventually they get put back in the house on this like Halloween night.
Yeah.
And you know the silver like lid things that you put on platters, and then in every fucking horror movie there's like a head underneath. They basically appeared under one of those, like under the table, and it got lifted and it's just like them two.
The shock horror.
The shock horror. And this basically caused like the biggest conflict in Big Brother history.
Why?
So they confronted everyone that's chatted shit about them.
Yeah.
It eventually got physical. Girls, guys, fucking everyone was brawling. Big Brother had to cut the visual footage, but they kept the audio footage. So they were just showing like a clip of the garden while you can hear all of the housemates fucking fighting. Audience members literally called the police and was like, can you go and check on the Big Brother housemates? There is some shit going down. Big Brother got in a lot of trouble over that. Even some like psychologists that were working behind the scenes like quit after that night. Because they were like, this is unethical.
Yeah, it's too much.
This is too far.
Yeah.
Basically, one of the girlies got taken into a separate room for a good few days, and then eventually Big Brother had to kick her out because I think she's the one that started the physical brawl. And then apparently she had to sign an agreement once she left the house that she was not allowed to talk about that night. Oh, how crazy.
It's like Fight Club. Rule number 1, we don't speak of it. Fight night.
Exactly. So Fight Night is a fundamental, famous night in the Big Brother lore.
Whoa.
Yes.
Damn.
Very crazy.
Oh my God.
One good thing that did come out of that season was that there was their first ever transgender winner.
Oh, yay.
A trans woman called Nadia, and everyone loved her. She was so funny, so free.
Yeah.
She actually never told the housemates that she was trans, but the audience knew. But it was a really big moment because it showed just a trans person just living a normal life and having friends and laughing and fighting and living that life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so first ever trans winner.
I love that.
Which is great. And this was in 2004.
Yeah, so that was quite progressive for the time.
Very progressive.
Yeah.
Really huge. You then go on to season 6, where another very, very infamous moment happens in Big Brother. And in British culture, I would say, as a whole, it's a fucking moment. There was this character, her name was Kinga.
Okay.
She came in late and she wanted to, you know, get some of that limelight. So she shoved a wine bottle up her vagina. Yeah.
Because they would never understand.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How much of it?
Girl, I did not look at the footage. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Some of it, at least.
What was the context?
She literally was like being loud and rowdy on a night where they'd had like a lot of alcohol or something. And one of the other housemates was like, if you're going to make noise, do it outside. So she literally just grabbed the wine bottle, went into the garden, laid on the ground and shoved it up her. I honestly don't know why. Nobody does. Yeah.
Okay.
I should mention.
Open? Closed?
Honestly don't know.
Was it a screw top? Was it a cork?
I could not tell you.
It's like that. I've got so many questions.
Look it up after, bitch. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I didn't look too deep into that one.
Too deep.
Too much.
Oh God. Oh my God.
I know. So crazy. And then we move on to Celebrity Big Brother. No, sorry, not Celebrity. Regular Big Brother season 7, which is noted by many, I think including myself, as the best season ever of Big Brother.
Whoa.
This introduced us to very, very famous in the reality show world, Nikki Graham.
Yeah.
And also we had Pete, who had Tourette's.
Yeah.
Which was also a very interesting watch. Pete was actually the first ever person on a TV show with Tourette's outside of a documentary.
Whoa.
That actually gathered a lot of awareness for Tourette's and showed people maybe something they'd never seen before.
Yeah. I like when shows are actually conscious of casting contestants that are realistic members of society. Like,
oh yeah. I think it was also first time a lot of audience had seen multiple neurodivergent people. A gorgeous thing to watch. And Pete actually ended up winning.
Oh,
which is fabulous.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because Nikki got evicted via public vote.
Yeah.
And then they actually put her back in the house a couple of weeks later, and that gathered like or gained thousands of complaints because people had spent money to vote to evict her, and then they just fucking put her back in. And it's like,
my God,
people wasted their money on this vote.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I'd be pissed.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Not because they hated her, but because they felt cheated by Big Brother. So that was really funny. But those complaints were actually nothing compared to what was about to come.
Jesus Christ.
Oh shit.
It never stopped.
I feel emotionally drained. for them.
Honestly. Basically, in 2007, more celebrities gone in, bunch of different people. Jade Goody gets put back in as a celebrity. Yeah.
Wow, she made a comeback.
She made a fucking comeback. This time she went in with her current boyfriend and her mum. The same
All of
mum.
them went in
All three of them.
as celebrities.
As celebrities.
Okay.
Fucking weird. Anyway, alongside that, a Bollywood star slash activist called Shilpa Shetty also went in. Joe, one of the S Club 7
Yeah.
peeps, went in. And then I think like a glamour model, Danielle, was in. And then a few other people. But those are like the main characters of this season. And basically, some shit was going on, and it became evident that there was bullying going on in the house. So Jade, Danielle, and Joe were like three mean girls,
Oh my God.
and they were bullying Shilpa.
Yeah.
But where it turned into a real problem was when a lot of their comments became racially driven.
Yeah.
So it became really global because obviously she was a Bollywood star, and the news of this person that like India idolized and loved was getting bullied by these British people. It became a real like race riot kind of situation. Like one of the most famous kind of things that they said was like, I think Shilpa made everyone like a curry or something one night. She was quite sweet. She like regularly cooked and was just like a nice person. One of them was like, this is why everyone in India is so skinny, because they don't cook their food properly and then they're sick all the time. Which is just really weird. A weird thing to say.
That is so insulting.
I'm like, damn, you don't know the difference. You don't realise your privilege of being in a first world country, do you? You don't realise that people are living on the streets, bitch. Like, it's not
God.
about the curries they're cooking. Like, it was just a really weird thing to say. And then they started saying a lot of just weird shit like that. And it was just very obvious that they were like pointing out her differences because she was from India.
Yeah.
And I think one of the girlies even said like, why doesn't she just fuck off back home?
Oh God.
And it got really bad. And then basically this gained 44.5 thousand complaints over the whole series, which is the second most complaints a TV show has ever gotten.
Oh my God. What's the first one?
Some Jerry Springer episode.
Okay, fine. So is this like people writing in and complaining?
So it was calls, it was emails.
I watch some really fucked up reality sometimes, but like I would never think to be like, I can call them and complain.
Yeah.
And 44 point whatever thousand people did that.
I know. Crazy. So Shilpa ends up going on to win the show.
Icon.
Jade gets evicted. She has this interview, and it's like very serious, very dark toned interview of Davina basically being like, what the fuck have you done? Like, the country fucking loved you and you've ruined it. You've actually killed everything you worked for.
Oh God.
And it was just intense. So from then, the show ends, whatever Shilpa's won. Jade is fucking in the pits. She then somehow agrees to go on the India Big Brother to reconcile. Long story short, she goes on the show. She finds out that she gets diagnosed with cancer during the show.
Oh my
flies back to
God.
England and dies a year later. Oh, yeah. Fucking intense.
How did she get diagnosed on the show?
She heavily documents her last like year of life, and there's actually a thing now in the like medical field that's called the Jade Goody effect, where because of how much she documented her journey, the level of women coming in for like checkups of like cervical cancer raised significantly.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people were saved from that, obviously, which is a great thing. But it was just a whirlwind.
She definitely made an impact.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyway, that was that.
Yeah.
After that, Big Brother actually announced that they were going to get axed. It had all gone too fucking far.
Oh.
And after that, they were like, right, well, we're not going to bring it back. But in the contract, we have one more civilian Big Brother, one more celebrity Big Brother, and a final season of Big Brother.
Okay.
So that's when it started to come to an end. And they got real crazy with it. They tried to, make it a lot more upbeat, brought back like very loved characters from earlier seasons. All got a bit crazy, having a bit of fun. They had this whole fucking parade show moment of like R.I.P. Big Brother.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. There was fucking funeral moment. There was a Davina moment. It was best bits. It was highlights. It was this big ass parade. And then literally like a year later, Channel 5 were like, we've bought Big Brother. It's coming back, bitch.
Like, never mind.
And then Channel 5 had it for a while. And then we get to Celebrity Big Brother 17. We're skipping ahead a bit now.
Yeah.
All I need to say is David's dead.
I've recently been introduced to this and I can't believe I've gone without it my whole life.
It is fucking TV gold.
It's phenomenal. It's like golden TV timing, everything, the stars aligned, everything worked out for this magical moment to be born.
Just weird fact about that season. One of the other celebrities that was in the house at the time, you're never going to fucking guess.
Who?
Andrew Tate.
Ew! What?
Literally who, what, why.
Was he in the house
Yes.
when that was happening?
Okay, so I think he'd been kicked out at
he
that
should.
point. So he went as an athlete, and then they kicked him out because they were like,
He was a piece of shit
you're a piece
from
of
the
shit
very
or something.
beginning.
Yeah, like he
Cool.
broke the rules or something.
Yeah.
Once he had gotten out of the way, David's dead came along, and that's
Oh
when it
my
really got started.
Wow. I love it.
Literally.
It's iconic.
She can never move on from that moment.
Never. And it's like she was going through this grieving process while simultaneously creating one of the biggest TV moments ever.
Ever. Anyway, that brings me to, well, that's the best TV Big Brother moment
Ever, period.
ever. So this is where I'm
Wow.
going to end it. Funny thing, I did see that, do you know, you're asking for it. You're dying
Yes,
for
yeah.
it. It was the 20th anniversary of that moment recently.
Wow. How fitting.
So good.
I didn't even know that was from Big Brother, but it's one
India
of my
Big Brother.
favourite meme moments. Like, this brings me so much joy.
I actually cannot. And there's a million other moments, but we cannot go through them right now. God, no.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Oh,
Anyway,
well, that was a whirlwind.
I needed to tell you about it.
And you did. So that's it for this week's episode of Tell Me About It.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know how you are in the comments.
And make sure to follow us on all our social medias linked down below.
Thanks for watching and see you next week.
Bye.